Have you ever encountered a hurdle with launching or growing your business? Listen, there are two things that run a business, the back end and your soft skills.
Telling you right now, if these aren't in place, you'll lose clients and you'll lose money. You don't want that? Well, you're in the right place.
Hey, I'm Dana.
Hey, I'm Sarah.
We're your hosts of the Entrepreneur Encounter, and we're going to give you a behind-the-scenes glance into our businesses, give you genuine feedback, tips and tricks, plus occasionally bring on guests that care about supporting you to grow your business organically and nurturing authentic relationships. Are you ready?
If you ever looked at your childcare options and thought, this isn't enough, this episode will hit home. Shavon St. Germain saw a gap in early childhood development and decided to fill it, not just for her daughter, but for her entire community. What started as one mom's determination to provide better care became a thriving, education-focused daycare that supported families for over 13 years. Welcome to Entrepreneur Encounter, where we talk about the importance of soft skills, personal and professional development. We're your hosts, Sarah and Dana. In today's episode, we're talking about building what you wish existed, trust the vision, even when it's scary. Word of mouth is powerful when your service is personal. Tune into the full conversation and be inspired by Shavon's story of courage, community, and creating a legacy of care. Now let's get to the episode.
Welcome, Shavon. Thank you so much for being on our show today. We're really excited to have you here. If you can go ahead and introduce yourself and tell us a little bit how soft skills have impacted your life.
Sure. Thank you so much for having me. My name is Shavon St. Germain, and I'm a speech language pathologist. I've been practicing for over 20 plus years. I won't date myself too much, but a long time. I primarily work with children with language delay. And that's really where my passion is, working with the little ones. I've worked doing home care, as in early intervention. So I work with kids in their home, which allows me to work with the entire family. And I love that very much. I've also worked in school settings. That was interesting. And now I actually have my own business, well, a couple of businesses, but my main thing that I'm working on right now is a language-based daycare program. So that's me in a nutshell.
That sounds really exciting. So from our talk before, correct me if I'm wrong, you mentioned that you were a stay-at-home mom and then you started a daycare in your house?
Well, I actually took a couple of pivots. So I was working in a public school in New York City as a speech teacher or speech therapist for elementary school for a bit. And when I had my first child, I was like having a hard time leaving her. So one day I kind of looked around my house and I said, oh my God, this place is full of so many toys. It looks like a daycare in here. And then I'm like, wait a minute, maybe I can stay home with her if I do a daycare. And so I did. I set up the daycare. I went through the whole process of getting licensed. And that's how I ended up here. So it allows me to run my business and be at home and be present for my children. That's pretty much what I'm doing these days.
I like that you recognize that your goal or your why, but then you recognize the ability to shift and do it in a way that met you where you were, as opposed to most of the time we hear, oh, manifest your 10-year goal, but you did an immediate thing and it allowed you to solve an immediate need, and now you've grown and pivoted even more.
Absolutely.
So over your journey, because it sounds like you've pivoted a lot like most of us, why do you feel like pivoting is necessary? Like, what have you learned each time you've pivoted?
Well, I do know that, especially from working with children, that we have to be flexible. So that's something that I learned very early on. And I'm really grateful for that. And any family that I work with, I say, look, we need to be flexible. We work with children and we're working with each other. You be flexible with me and I'll be flexible with you. It just works because nothing is hard and fast when it comes to life. You just have to be ready to go with the flow. As they say, the only constant is change. So like once you embrace that, you should be okay. Along with pivoting and kind of like figuring out how to make things work, I always say, like, don't focus on the problem. You can look at the problem, but don't stay there. Like, don't dwell on it. Figure out the solution. And I think that's what I had to do when it hit me that I didn't want to leave my baby. I wasn't ready to do that. That coupled with the experience that I had, I was working as a therapist and I was going into a lot of daycares. And what I was seeing was kind of disheartening. Like kids just weren't being stimulated. And given my background in speech and language development, I'm just like, no, this is not what's supposed to happen. Like, this is a critical period in development. I want more for her. And I didn't think anybody could give what I thought she needed besides me. And then when I decided to do the daycare, I said, I'm going to create the type of program that I couldn't find for my child, for my community. And that's what I've been doing for the past almost 13 years. So it took a lot of pivoting and obviously support. Because one day I got up and I said to my husband, I can't go back. I can't go back to work. And he's looking at me like, we have bills. And I'm like, no, I'm going to make it work. I'm going to make it work. So while I was getting the business off the ground, because, any business you start, you're not like out the gate making all this money. I was able to use my skill in speech therapy to do early intervention, which, in most states have a program similar where the therapist will come into the home and work with the children that are having difficulty with language or speech. So I did that for a bit. I'd stay home with my daughter all day. And then my husband would come in at like 5:00 and we were like two ships passing each other, like dinner's in the microwave. And then I'd just like run out, see a few kids until bedtime and then come back. Saturday morning, same thing. So at least I had the peace of mind that it was either me or my husband with our baby, because I don't know if I'm a helicopter or what, but I was just like, no, I want to do this. I want to be present, but I also need to make money. I'm just very thankful for the vision of doing it. And the funny thing about it is when I got my license, there are actually two types of licenses. There's the group family daycare, which you're allowed 6 kids, and a group family where you're allowed 12. So I went for the 6 because I'm thinking small, at the time. And I'm okay. I had like 1 or 2 kids. And then one day this lady comes, she calls me. She's like, I'd like to come in and see your daycare. I have a son. He's 7 months old. And I said, sure, come by. Let's chat. She came over and we chatted for about 3 hours.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
We knew each other from maybe another life. Maybe we did. I don't know. And at the end of the conversation, she's like, I really want my baby to be with you. I love the daycare. I love you. Everything's great. It's just because I do more than just watch the kids. Like they learn. When my kids leave me, they're reading. I use my knowledge of phonemic awareness, language, and all the things to help them academically. So long story short, at the end of the conversation, she says to me, oh, and by the way, I'm pregnant with twins. And I say, Lord, I asked you for some kids, but I didn't know you were going to work this fast.
Oh my gosh.
So next day I had to like file the paperwork to get the license for the larger program. But I say all that to say sometimes your plan is like this, and then you just got to trust yourself, trust in God, or, whatever that you believe, your higher being, that there's more for you. So you just kind of have to go with the flow and be ready and open to the possibilities.
That's like a fire right underneath you, man. Like Dana and I are both parents, so we understand the fact that we want to be there and be present. That's a great motivation. But like having the fact that this lady came in and talked to you like that, and it's like, okay, now I really need to get the ball rolling, because it's like when entrepreneurs start, they have this idea and then they just kind of sit on it. But like, what if you actually talk about it? What if you actually start having conversations and someone goes, well, let me know when you start because I'm going to call you first. And that's amazing. Like,
I don't take the credit because she says to me, I found your flyer in the back of my car. I went to get my baby out and your flyer was there. I was like, well, I didn't put it there. I don't know, but I'm glad you found it. We still don't know how it got there.
That's too funny.
That's like word of mouth marketing on fire.
Yes. And then, of course, she told her friends, her neighbors. Advertising, thankfully, is not something that I do very much because my clients, they bring their friends and family and everybody. So I'm grateful that they see the value in what I bring. They appreciate our role in their children's lives. I always say it's our little village. So I feel good about it. My contribution to my community. And yeah, they come back. I started this about 13 years ago. So a lot of the kids have grown up and they still come back. So
that's awesome.
It's awesome. It is. It's like extended family.
Yeah, there's so many times as a mom, like you're like, I don't know who to trust. Like, I don't trust anybody to watch my kids because like coming from experience, I know for a fact that I went to, I think 4 or 5 preschools before I figured out which one I wanted. And I was like, I'm willing to drive 25 minutes away just for you to go to this one and not the one down the street.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I think that's a great motivation because obviously like if my kids are sick and they have to stay home, I stay home with them.
Mm-hmm.
I have that flexibility and know that your child is at home with you.
But how good did you feel when you found that last one and you're like, okay, I feel comfortable here. They're happy here. They're safe.
Oh, yeah.
And that's what I strive to do in my business. I try to operate in a way that I would want. Like if I'm doing speech, I'm going to be the speech therapist that I would want. If I'm doing childcare, I'm going to be the childcare that I would want. And I feel like people see that. It resonates with them. They can feel that when their kids come in and they don't look back. And I have to say, say bye to your mom. Like they're like, okay, you can go to work. Or parents come to pick them up and they're crying because they don't want to leave. So I just feel like delight your customers, as Warren Buffett says. That's my basis for my business and anything I do. I try to delight my customers, obviously within reason. Some people are just, but the goal is always to delight the customers and just be the type of business that I would want to support.
Yeah, for sure.
So pivoting sounds like something almost that came naturally to you.
Oh, yeah.
Because when you were saying going from 6 to 12, for those that do not know, between my husband and I, we have 5 children. So like,
Wow.
I'm okay with a bunch of kids running around.
Yes.
But the idea of going from 6 to 12 basically overnight would probably even give me a little bit of fear of like, oh.
Then I won't tell you that I went from 6 to 12 to 24. I won't tell you that because I did.
At any point in these pivots, sometimes you recognize it, it sounds like, but sometimes it was thrown in your lap to it's time to shift, which to many could cause like a fear of change. We naturally have a fear of change. We like our routines. I love my routine. How did you overcome the fear of change and just learn to trust? I don't want to say like your gut instinct, but to trust yourself in, all right, it's time. We need to take a step forward.
I think the biggest thing for me is to remember the why. Like, why did I start doing this? Like, why did I leave my career job to do this? And it was always my children, my family. When I was in high school, we took a test, like an online quiz, and it was like a personality quiz. It spit out like, based on your responses, which career choices might be best for your personality. Speech therapy actually popped up as one. I think I was like 16 years old. Looked it up, I researched, and I realized, okay, well, if I work in a school, I'd have summers off. I'd have all the school breaks off. I could be home with my children. I'm 16, mind you, had no children, but I'm forward thinking like, this is what I want to be. This is the type of mom that I want to be. And even from that early on, I think that drove me to make a lot of decisions that I did make. So remembering why I started doing what I did, why I eventually left my job. And it was to be a more present mom, to just, like they say, the days are long, but the years are short. And they really are. So even if the change is thrown in my lap, I have to focus on the why. And that's what gets me through the changes. And I literally tell people every time when something comes up, I just say one thing at a time, day by day. I try to just kind of like eat that frog one bite at a time. So just keeping focus on the why and just taking one thing at a time just gets me through.
Yeah, definitely. I would agree with that too, especially when we all talk about imposter syndrome. Like, oh my goodness, like, and you start having all these like negative thoughts and like, okay, well, if you're thinking like that, but like, yeah, like think about like, why did you start doing this? Like, because of my family, I started doing this because I want to leave corporate or whatever the case may be. And you have to be self-aware of your own thoughts so that you can get out of those thoughts and go back to that why.
I mean, I lean very heavily into my faith. And I just feel like if God gave me the vision to do something, he's going to give me the ability and the strength and everything that I need to see it through, because this vision was given to me. So that means that I am able, I am capable. So I just try to hold on to that and just take things as they come and just do it.
Yeah. I mean, from just this conversation, you seem like a really chill person.
Most of the time, but when your kid's running through the house at any given moment, so those may not be my truest moments. But yeah, I would say so.
Yeah, no, I like that because a lot of the times, me personally, like you said, like take one day at a time, because obviously there are going to be things that happen that you don't want to happen, but there's some things that are out of your control, but it's up to you on how you take that. Either you're going to sit there and be upset because of whatever, or you can just say, okay, well, let's move on,
That happens quite a bit. Just the unexpected pops up. And I'm also an audiologist. I don't know if I mentioned that. But when I was doing my fellowship, I was working at the VA. So I was working with a lot of elderly gentlemen, veterans, a lot of Vietnam vets and all that. And I'll never forget. I don't remember his name, but I'll never forget this. He pulls out of his pocket this little piece of paper and he unfolds it. And it's like from a magazine. I don't know if you remember, There was like this hair dye company called Nice and Easy. He cut it out and he would carry it in his pocket. And when things got crazy, he would pull it out and just read it and just say, take it nice and easy. So I found the little ad and I printed it out and I actually taped it to my wall. And it just kind of brings me back to that. And I'm like, just take it easy.
Yeah.
And then what I do is I said, everything that has come in my way or like been thrown at me, I've made it through the other side. There's no reason why this is going to be any different. So if something is happening today, I'll visualize myself tonight relaxing in my bed because I know I'm going to get there. It's going to be okay. So that helps me a lot.
My key phrase, and anyone that's going to listen to this is going to laugh, but no matter what's going on, how stressful it is, my key phrase is, it's fine. My husband has pointed out that apparently I have different variations of what it's fine means or how I say it, like my tone changes, but it's always like, it's just me reminding myself,
It's fine.
it's fine.
That's so funny because my husband's always saying that too. It's fine. It's fine. And sometimes like, it's not fine, but it will be, but it will be.
I never noticed how much I said it that I needed to remind myself as an entrepreneur who's in the middle of like growing and things until someone in my co-working space pointed it out. And I was like, now I'm super aware of it.
But it's okay. I think that's okay. If that's what you need to get through, then you just keep saying it. And if they don't want to hear it, maybe you can write it on a Post-it note. I'm the Post-it notes queen.
Now it's just a joke. So if they're overwhelmed, they'll copy me essentially. But I just never realized how much reassurance I need for myself, you know, because this is the year, really the last 2 years, but this is the year I've really pushed myself to step outside of my comfort zone and to define what success looks for me. Because for the longest, I was just in hustle mode because I started my business as a single mom. And so it really wasn't meant to be a business. It was just meant to fill in the gaps of my income. And just in case life hit the fan, I had support and I had money to fix it. And now that they're all in school and I can balance a little bit better, it is a business. And I want to leave that hustle mindset of, oh, I got to make a quick dollar and I want it to be sustainable. And that is uncomfortable to really take a look at what I'm doing and figuring out where I want to go and recognizing what I'm doing right now is not what I want to be doing in 10 years. And so I need to make shifts. And that's one that's scary.
Yes.
But success for me is having my Jenna Kutcher moments where I get to go and make bread in the middle of the day and hang out with my kids and my business doesn't fall apart. And right now, if I don't do work in these moments, it's going to fall apart.
We're living the same life.
So building a business that aligns with my personal values is huge. I mean, you've been doing this longer than I have. So I would love to know like how you have built your business that aligns with your personal values, even if they've shifted over time since you've been doing this, you said 13 years.
Yep. I think you said something very, very important, at least important to me, when you said you define what success looks like for you. And I think that's so important that people realize that success doesn't look the same for everyone. For some people, success may mean making X amount of dollars or being able to take X amount of vacations. And it's really important that you get clear on what success looks like for you and that that's what matters, not what it looks like to anybody else. So for me, maybe at a point in life, success would have meant, okay, X amount of dollars every year or what have you. But for me right now in this space as a mom, success looks like time freedom. It looks like my kids having a spring concert at 10 a.m. and I'm going to be in the front row. That's what success looks like for me. So I thought that was amazing that you pointed out that it's going to look like something different for everybody. As far as my values and business, I went to a private religious school growing up. And the most poignant thing that I think that I took from that time was the golden rule. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. And that just stuck with me. And that's really how I live my life. Besides how I run my business, that's how I live. And I teach my kids the same thing, like treat people the way you would want to be treated. Like it doesn't matter who it is, from the CEO to the mail's room staff or what have you. It doesn't matter. Everyone deserves to be treated fairly and with respect. And in business, you definitely have to do that. Your clients deserve the same respect that your staff deserves. The people that help you from day to day, everybody deserves that. And it's so funny because people come in and I won't say, okay, this is my assistant. She works for me. You'll never hear me say that. I will say, this is Julia. We work together. And that's how Julia's been with me for over a decade. Okay. Do I pay Julia $1 million? I don't. I'm just a mom trying to make things work. But I think she sees that I value her. My clients, like I said, they bring their family, their friends, because they see that I value them and I respect them. And I really do. And I tell them, especially at Thanksgiving, I know it might sound corny, but I send Thanksgiving cards and it'll say like, I know you have lots of choices, and they do. Thank you for choosing us and trusting us to do this job. So I think as far as my values, that's a big value for me personally, and it spills over into the way I do business.
I totally agree with that too, because the way that you treat, let's say, your customers, if you don't respect them, if you're not valuing them and all that, they're going to leave, or then they're going to start talking about that. And that's bad. That's going to ruin your reputation. And then when nobody's going to say, hey, go work with Shavon, like you want to work with her, bring your kids there, whatever the case may be. But if you're valuing the person that comes into your place of business, they're going to now say, hey, you should go work with her. You should bring your children.
People have choices.
Yeah.
They have choices. You have to remember that.
Exactly. I mean, like, obviously you can go on like Google to like read reviews. That's why you need to, again, be respectful of those people that come into your space, because you never know.
And just do the right thing. Like, that's it. It's just that simple.
Yeah. I think it's simple too, but
right. It's harder for some people.
So what is one final piece of advice? Like if they listen to the whole thing, but this is the last thing, this is the most important piece of information that you need to grow your business or to even start a business, what would you recommend?
I would have to say probably be nice to yourself. Give yourself grace. Speak to yourself kindly. If the idea comes to you, it's for a reason, and just work at it. Work at it every day, even the days that you feel like you can't do this or you're not cut out for this. Just stop telling yourself those things. You might have to like fudge it a little bit and just say, I'm great at this, because eventually you will be. So just keep going. Keep going.
I love that. Put that on a shirt. I think every time we have a guest, which is basically every week, there's always that one piece of nugget. I'm like, that should be artwork or on a mug or on a t-shirt, probably on a Post-it note.
You should start a collage on the wall. Look kind of like
we really do, Sarah. Add that to our to-do list.
I actually want to share that I have sort of one more pivot. So I do speech therapy and I work with children who have language delays and their families. And a lot of what I do is, I would say, like parent training, teaching the parent how to do what I do when I'm not there for therapy so that their kids can get to their goals faster. I've been doing this for over 20 years and I pretty much give a lot of the same advice. So what I decided to do was collect all of that advice and the strategies that I use in therapy all the time and make an online course for parents. So that course is called The Gift of Gab. They can find that on my website. And that's what I'm working on right now. So it's a pivot in the fact that I know how to make kids talk. I'm working on learning how to be a marketer. I'm learning how to be a web designer. So I'm learning a lot of things right now. I'm wearing a lot of hats, and we do that in business. So I got a few more hats for my collection.
No, that's awesome.
Thinking as you're talking, that would be a perfect online resource. So I'm glad you said you had it.
Yes.
You said it's still in the works, or is it done?
It's pretty much done. I would say about 90% done. In the meantime, people can follow me at Listen, Learn, Talk on social, Instagram, Facebook, all the things. And then I'll make announcements as we get closer.
Oh, perfect. Okay. And then once you make that announcement, we'll help you get it up on there too. Yeah.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, of course.
Women helping women. I love it.
Yeah, most definitely. So thank you so much, Shavon. This has been so much fun. As always, all of our information is going to be in the show notes. Until next time.
Thank you for having me.
Of course.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for tuning in to another episode. Remember, soft skills aren't just some fluffy buzzwords that get thrown around in the corporate world. They're the key to unlocking your full potential as a professional and a human being. Don't be afraid to invest in yourself and seek out opportunities to improve your soft skills. Sarah and I have a variety of workshops, online courses, and complimentary clarity calls for you to practice in real time with us. Links are always in the show notes. And be sure to join us next time for more insights, tips, and tricks to help you succeed in your entrepreneur encounter.